This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social, and I'm delighted to be joined by the advisor to Dave Allen, Darren Barker. Darren, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Good. A good little turnout today, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah, it was a good turnout. Just talking about that, how excited you are to see Dave in a fight where you're his official advisor and being a part of his training team for these past 6 weeks.
Yeah, look, it's not about me. It's about Dave now. It's about showing how hard he's worked, how fit he is, and showing how good of a boxer he is. Because I want people to see how good Dave is. I've said it before. There's people involved in boxing will know that there's such thing as a gym fighter, and that's someone who looks $1 million in the gym, but they just can't transfer it on fight night. And I don't want Dave to fit into that mould, because anyone who's seen him in the gym, and I certainly have the last few weeks, have seen how good of a fighter he is. He's very, very good. He's got good shot selection. He's got a good ring IQ. He moves his head well. He moves his feet well. But his best asset is his chin and his durability, and sometimes he relies on it too much. He tries to wear down his opponents, and I don't want him to do that. I want him to stay switched on throughout. If he could do so, he can look $1 million, and I said it before, he can change his life, because people will start taking him serious. He's a great guy. He's a comedian. He's very funny, but I don't think he gets the credit he deserves for how good of a boxer he is, and he can prove that tomorrow night. He can prove how good he actually is. It's down to him now.
I know this is the first time where you've stepped into somebody's corner and taken on so much training with them. Is this for you yourself an exciting chance to see just how much you learn about yourself as a trainer, maybe what you can do going forwards with Dave?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, first and foremost, I guess I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed passing on some of my knowledge. Just walking past, putting stupid faces now, aggressive faces actually. I've enjoyed the task. I've learned from the best. I really have. My dad, unbelievable coach, never actually done it, but he showed me, along with Tony Burns and Tony Sims, that keep things simple. You don't got to overcomplicate getting that advice over. Because boxing really and truly is a simple sport. If they can't eat it, they can't win. That's the art of boxing. So it's just been trying to keep things simple, not change a great deal.
Well, we'll just pick that back up there. My memory card was full, yeah. He's on a roll.
No, he went missing for about 20 minutes while I went to look for his card.
He was on a roll then. Sorry, Darren. Try and pick that back up. Yourself as a trainer and being able to learn about what you've been doing and what you haven't been doing well going forwards.
Yeah, like I was saying then, I've learned from the best. Tony Sims, my pro trainer for 10 years, and I had him probably a year before that, so I was with Tony 11 years. Tony Burns at the Repton, and my dad as well, who never got into coaching but helped me loads. He was a former ABA champion. So I think from the three of those top coaches I had, they sort of showed me just to keep things simple. Don't overcomplicate things, because boxing isn't complicated. It's this very simple sport, really. I mean, you've got to train hard, and there is a science to it. But really and truly, it's about hitting and not being hit, and it's finding a way of solving that puzzle. And I've had to change a few things with Dave. Moving your head, thinking speed, your footwork, etc., and picking your shots instead of just throwing them. But look, the most important thing is he's listened. He's taken it all on board. Now I want him to take that from the gym into the ring.
Dave mentioned in a press conference yesterday and in previous interviews that if he'd had another 3 or 4 wars like Bracamonte, he wouldn't be able to understand him in a couple of years' time. Was that something you said to him yourself? Like, not necessarily the talking part, but you need to stop taking these shots because long term it's going to affect you?
Yeah, I've had to sort of mention you don't need to be taking the shots. I know you can take them, but you don't need to be taking them, and it doesn't just mean you could potentially lose a fight. It's about losing your marbles. This sport's unforgiving, and it takes no prisoners. You can really get hurt, and like I said before, sometimes people who have big punches, their main asset is a big punch. They rely on that big punch too much. Dave's main asset is his chin, his durability. So he does fall guilty of relying on it a bit too much. So how do you combat that? You start moving your head, moving your feet. Being smart, speed. I think the most important thing in boxing, right? One of the most important things in boxing is timing's very, very key, but you can't teach timing. Timing just comes naturally with experience and the amount of fights you have. But you can improve speed. You can help a fighter be quicker with their hands, with their head movement, with their feet, and that's what I've tried to do with Dave. You know, speed. That's all I keep saying to him. Speed. You know, because he's a bit smaller. He's solid. He's a solid heavyweight, but he's a bit smaller than some of these guys. So I want him to use his speed. It's there. Start using it.
I know you've got a great friendship with Dave away from his coaching role.
Now I've got his mate Danny behind now, like trying to pull faces at me and put me off. I'm a pro, mate. You can't put me off.
I know you've got a great friendship with Dave and you get on very well on a personal level. Everybody knows that he's a joker, he likes to have a laugh. What's it been like in camp trying to maybe get him to take it a bit more serious?
Do you know what? There's always a problem when you're very close to your fighter, because, you know, where we was friends first, you know, there is a time when you're a coach, you got to be strict and you've got to keep that discipline there. But he listens, he respects me, I respect him. But when we're in the gym, it's serious. You know, he knuckles down, he listens to me, and he does everything I ask. Outside of the gym, you can have a laugh. You know, there's no harm in it. You've got to understand, this is only a sport, this is only a job. You can't drive yourself mad. Someone like Dave, I think he would fall out of love quickly with boxing if he wasn't able to have a bit of fun. And we do. Look, you got to remember, it's only if you're doing the work in the gym, outside of the ring, as long as you're not drinking, doing drugs or anything like that, you can have a laugh. And he does that. And I think he's finding now a healthy balance, so he doesn't fall out of love with the sport.
What was it like for you when Dave mentioned his past battles with mental illness? And, you know, I had an interview with him last week at a workout, and he said he began in this camp before he come and joined up with you, and he locked himself away for 5 days in his mate's house. When you heard that, what were your thoughts? You know, how did it make you feel? And what did you try and do just to be the one to help get through?
Yeah, look, I guess that helps being a friend. You know, sort of you can not only be a good coach to him, but I can be a help when it comes to stages when he is down, because I've been there myself. When my brother died, I hit some real low points. But it just shows you everyone's vulnerable. Everyone has a weakness. We see people go to the gym all the time to get fit and strong, but this is the main muscle you got to look after. It's your brain is so vulnerable. Honestly, we're all precious, and we all need looking after sometimes. I know Dave's big and strong and a man's man, if you like. He has his vulnerable side, and I think it's good that he is vocal about it, because I think the worst thing you can do is bottle it all up. But, you know, one thing I'll say is I'm proud of him. I'm proud of how he's approached this fight. I'm proud of how serious he's taken it. So yeah, it's over to him now. I've done all I can do. He's almost done all he can do, you know, as far as training is concerned and taking it all on board. He's now got to do it when that first bell goes. You know, put it all into play and show how good he is.
A victory for you guys on Saturday night. Have you spoken about any other fights that you'd be interested in? Not maybe necessarily looking towards them, but names which might have crept up in conversation?
Anyone in the top 10, really. He's got to take care of business first on Saturday, but David Price's name's been knocked around, Derek Chisora, etc. Someone like that, you know, a big fight. But it all depends on the manner of victory on Saturday. If he struggles against Lucas Browne, you know, you sort of go back to the drawing board and you may think about a different opponent. But, you know, a big domestic dust up for me would be good. There's never going to be any bad blood, but someone that, you know, gets the juices flowing. Someone that you think, oh, that would be a good fight. And I guess a fight as well that you struggle to pick a winner, because that's what I want Dave now. I want him to progress. I want him to start creeping up those rankings, because look, we don't know how far he can go. If he'll win a British title, Commonwealth, European title, who knows? But I think it's about taking each fight as it comes, and it's a massive one Saturday night.
Sticking with the heavyweights, away from this card though, a couple of days ago we saw Jarrell Miller fail his doping test. What were your thoughts when you heard about it?
Surprised, if I'm honest. He was so quick to give Anthony Joshua a stick, saying, you know, you're definitely on drugs. How can you put on so much muscle since the Olympics? It's impossible. And then he gets found. I mean, you've got to be quite embarrassed. But there's not much really I've got to say about it. This is a whole topic that could go on for hours and hours. I'm not. You know, I don't think they should have second chances. Anyway, again, I'm boring myself. Like, it's about who he's going to fight now. I quite like the Lewis Ortiz fight. If Eddie can get that made, if Dave can knock out Lucas Browne in a spectacular fashion, give Dave the fight. But look, I hope they get a credible opponent to replace Miller.
Boxing Social's Rob Tebbert interviewed Dillian White yesterday morning, and Dillian was very determined to get across the point that, in his opinion, Ajayi is having therapeutic test exemptions, therapeutic usage exemptions, I should say. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think Ajayi has ever had anything like that? TUEs?
Again, I don't even know where to start with this. I have no comment. I have no comment. No comment. I just don't know what's going on. I just don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I don't quite understand the question, if I'm deadly honest. But for me, Anthony Joshua is clean as a whistle. He does not take any drugs or anything. Is that what?
So that's what Dillian was saying, that in his opinion, Ajayi has had TUE, so he's out.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you would have been found out now. I was just trying to stay away from these questions because it's just not, winds me up.
Is it a frustrating period that in such a high time for British boxing and for boxing around the world, that it seems to be drugs are the main topic of the sport at the minute? Yeah,
it's such a shame because boxing's hard enough as it is, let alone fighting someone who's juiced up to the eyeballs. Because not only can you run faster, jump higher, like other sports, throw further or whatever, you can hurt someone worse. So it's terrible. It's not good, and I hope there's a way we can fizzle it out and stop this from happening. And I think the only way is having tougher punishments, life bans.
I was interviewing Adam Booth yesterday, who I saw you having a little bit of a conversation with at the press conference. He gave a very passionate response about the fact that he feels more needs to be done, and the likes of the promoters, the managers, the governing bodies, nobody's doing enough and everybody's shirking the responsibility. Do you agree with that?
Perhaps, yeah. I guess so. For me, it's the punishment has to scare the life out of the taker. If there is a life ban, regardless if it's a very strong energy drink that you need to know, if I take this, I'm going to get banned for life. And I think it's the same with crimes outside of the ring. If you're caught carrying a knife, you're put in prison for life. These punishments have to be worse. They've got to be a lot harsher for people to stop doing these ridiculous things.
Now, just to stick on New York, your best mate Tunde Ajayi was out there, did a little interview with IFL. Have you watched it? Have you seen what he said?
No, do you know what? I've no bad feelings towards Tunde at all. I said something I shouldn't have said. It was a tweet saying he should be sectioned for comments that he's got Yard's got a better skill set than Andre Ward, but I didn't mean that in a nasty way whatsoever. It's like calling someone crazy. That's all I've done. I didn't mean it, and I'm a big advocate of all the work that's been done for mental health, and anyone who knows me knows that there was no malice in it whatsoever. It was basically something like saying you're nuts. How can you? It wasn't nasty. Then this video's come out, and I just thought it was a little bit disrespectful. But anyway, who cares? Who cares? It's not going to affect me moving forward. I'm not going to stop smiling. Social media is all about having a bit of a laugh, and we had a little laugh with a video we'd done. It's all banter in it. There's no hard feelings whatsoever. I've got too much going on in my own life to worry about other people's lives. So yeah.
I was going to say, you had an interesting pad session with a shirt on. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, 3-piece suit. No, it was funny. It was funny. Yeah.
Well, Darren Barker, I know you're going to shoot off now, so thanks for speaking to Boxing Social.
Some food. I ain't even weighed in and I'm hungry. Cheers, mate. Always a pleasure.
Cheers, Darren. Thank you.